Welcome to the Success Journey Show. Let's travel together through the lives of individuals on the road to success.
Hey, what is going on? Success Journey Show is here. We are back. All of our travelers, how are you doing today? It's Ricky Ventures and Marlon Madden coming back with you for another episode. Marlon, what is good, bro? How you doing today?
Ooh, living a dream, brother. Yeah, man. I'm in a good space. And you know, it was when people hear this, all our podcast guys is pre-recorded. So Ricky and his family came down yesterday, break bread with us. It's been a while since I actually saw you face to face.
Yeah, I know, right? I was thinking about that. I was like, dude, it's been
a while.
It's been months. It's summer.
Months in summer.
Yeah.
Last time was when we went to the beach.
That was first week of September. Yeah, dude.
In September. So it was a long time. You got to come down here. We got to then your house had COVID, my house had COVID, so we had to quarantine away.
Yeah.
So having you over and having the family and seeing the boys and seeing Nicole and all that was pretty fun and just good time. We broke some bread, ate some food, and just sat back and talked. So.
Yeah, man. I tell you, this quarantine is this COVID time frame is just, you can get so stuck in the routine now, just being home, not realizing how much time is passing.
Correct.
And
that lotus plant.
Yeah, when we were driving down, I was like, "Yo, when's the last time?" Me and Marlon, we see each other every week, talk to each other. Yep. And then now just seeing each other through Zoom. And then wow, okay, man, I haven't seen him in person in a long time. Is he going to look the same?
Yeah.
Is he going to recognize me?
Oh man. He came. Hey, people, he came and picked up his bag.
Yes, sir.
So he picked up his bag. So you know what I'm saying? You guys gotta. It
is official. Yes, it's even better than what you see that there in the picture. So, man, soon we will have it up on our website, so anyone can purchase those things. Listen, it is phenomenal, man. When I saw it, I saw it in video first. So, over Zoom, I didn't even see it in person. But when I saw it this weekend, I was like, yo, these bags are official, man. So I can't wait to rock mine. I'm going to take mine to the gym with me. And then wherever, as I start going to meetings again, man, people see the Flashing the Success Journey Show, and you can be with us too. We're going to have it on the website soon. We'll have a little pre-launch out there, and you can go ahead and purchase a bag. Not only a bag, you can get a book and put the book in the bag. You get a T-shirt and a shirt. You can have the shirt, bag, and a book. Man, you be hooked up, man. Gonna be hooked up. Talk about being on a journey.
Yeah, you're gonna pay for all three, but
yeah.
All three of them.
Yeah, for sure. Man, but listen, man, we're excited because we got an amazing guest coming to you guys today, and I will say it right now. Like I said, these are all pre-recorded. This guest means so much to me, man, and I'm so excited to have him on this show today, because if you go, and I'll say this, probably say this again, but you can go look us up on Google, and the first podcast that I started getting into the podcast world, this guy was by my side getting it done. So, man, but I'm not gonna go there yet, Marlon. Let's talk about to those new travelers that are with us this week that just got on the bus, got on the plane, got on the train with us, whatever it is. And they're traveling. Let's give them a little insight as to where they can find our podcast, either listening to it or visually.
All right, hey guys, you guys traveling with us, if this is your first time or you're a reoccurring traveler, you know where you can find us. You can find us. Our website is thesuccessjourneyshow.com, thesuccessjourneyshow.com. And if you're trying to find us on Twitter, that is success_show. If you're trying to find us on YouTube, The Success Journey Show. You getting the drip? The Success Journey Show. And if you're trying to find us on Instagram or Facebook, Success Journey Show.
Yo, it's crazy, dude.
What's that?
Yeah, Traveler. That's where you can find all that stuff, right? But here's something, right? I got to jump in here. Do you remember when we were back singing in one of the songs? It was like, It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. You don't need no ticket. Just get on board. That's how I was thinking with us. Like, yo, you don't need a ticket for this. You don't need a ticket to start get on this journey. All you do is get on board, right?
Rick, one thing I want to say, and we always say we're going to bring out some stuff, but we are, right? We have some, but we just believe, we want to tell you guys stuff, but we don't want to make that the forefront of everything to try to push it in your face. But what I could tell you is put yourself in the position or the mindset to be able to handle the stuff that you want to be able to handle. Don't just say, hey, I want to be able to have, I want to be able to be in a millionaire's boys club. And then when you get $1 million, you don't know how to make that million into 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to put yourself in a position that you will be able to, when you attain the things that you've been striving for, a journey for, that when you get there, you can actually take that load and go further.
Yeah.
Right? And you guys will know why we're saying this stuff. We have some, well, you know, Ricky with the Hit Doctor stuff is really, that stuff is really going to another level. We don't talk about it every week, but it's already going to another level, man. We're doing so many things. And it's funny that I get people that hit me up and be like, man, let me just tell you something. I see what you're doing out here. Hey, keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, oh, snap. I had one just hit me up today like, hey, brother, I see what you're doing out here, man. Keep on doing what you're doing. And I was like, oh, snap. You know, so it's pretty remarkable when you know that you're going to make an impact or you want to help people to make impact in this world, that you're on this journey together and you're just finding all the different stuff out. That's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, just like every single week, guys, we come to this segment of bringing this guest onto the show. Now, listen, you know, I said this in our last show, you know, every week there's a special guest that comes on. But guys, I have to say this, man. This guest is like, man, like you guys don't understand. So if you go on Google right now and you look up Ricky Venter's podcast, you'll see another podcast called STEM Dialogue. We released that back in 2016. It was the first venture out into podcasting when no one was really podcasting at all. It was just very, very new. And this is the guy right here that we have with us today, man, that we partnered together back then, 2015, 2016, 17, man. And we did some amazing things in the STEM world during that time. And man, this right here is an honor to be able to have him on the Success Journey show today, man. It is going, you guys are going to be, man, blown away just by the journey. At some point, like I was at some point, like, yo, man, where is this going to go next? You know, I'm always sitting on the sideline like, yo, what's going to happen next? But as you will tell through his story and how he tells it, as we talk about it, man, there is one fundamental thing that goes through the whole thing in his life. And we'll pull that out later. But I would like to introduce to you, you know, one of the most special guests on this podcast. Why? Because he's one person that believed in me when I started on this journey of podcasting, STEM, speaking, and things of that nature. Partnered up with me, my first business partner. Oh my goodness, I can go on, man, forever with this dude. But this is Ian Ferguson. Ian, what's going on, bro? How are you doing today, man?
Man, it's good to see you, bro. It's good to talk to you. I never really had a formal introduction like that. I hope I live up to the expectation.
Hey, I just want to say one thing. I don't know who dropped who in that whole evolution, but I thank you for letting me have Ricky.
You know what, man? You know, Ricky actually, he gave me the big introduction, but you know, he kind of pushed me into the direction I needed to go, you know, to where I'm at right now. So just to give everybody a brief introduction, I'm Ian Ferguson from Baltimore. I'm currently a firefighter EMT.
Yes, sir.
That sounds nothing to, you know, the dudes who've never heard of me, but for you guys, you know, this is not a direct path for me to be telling you that's what I'm doing right now. I love what I do. I love adventure. I love not knowing where my life is headed. I'm sure Ricky can attest to that. But I'm also, you know, just a regular guy, self-driven regular guy, just making my own path, enjoying life. Oh, also, I wanted to say this on the podcast. I'm not sure if you knew, Ricky, I'm a soon-to-be dad.
Man, I was waiting to see how you bring that up. Man,
it's no secret.
I've been pranked so many times by so many different people. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna reach out to him. Let me see what he says in the podcast. Awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to say I was waiting for the podcast to say that I'm a soon to be dad. We're having my first child. August 14th is the due date.
Man, congrats, dude.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm at a real big turning point in my life right now, and I'm loving it.
Another little you don't know what you're having yet, do you?
Not yet. We'll find out about a month or so.
All right, cool, man. I
don't even care what I'm having, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Baby, right?
Yeah.
Yep. No, love it, dude. Man, so proud of you, man. And you guys are like, man, what are you proud of, man? Like, we're gonna dive into this story, man. But there's so much into it. So, Ian, man, take us back to, I hate having guests that I really, really know. I'm like, yo, where do I really want them to start?
You want me to start off when I met you? Or how that happened?
Yeah, let's start there, dude. Let's start there. Yep.
So to take it back to about 2 weeks before I actually met Ricky, I was a senior. I went to school for architecture at Morgan State University. And I was just looking for an internship. It's my senior year of college. And I knew I had to start, finding a job sooner or later. So I've taught martial arts part-time. I was a Taekwondo instructor for a long time. And one of the parents told me he just knew a guy that knew a guy who was an engineer. I didn't know nobody's name. He just gave me somebody's phone number to meet up in the parking lot outside of Kmart. So I met up with this guy. He wanted to meet me before introducing me to this engineer that works at Johns Hopkins, who I still didn't know the person's name or anything. So I had an interview set up at Johns Hopkins, and they never told me what the interview was for, what the job was for, if it was paid or unpaid. I just knew it was an interview for an internship that has something to do with engineering. That's all I knew. So when I got to the interview, that's actually where I met Ricky. He was on the panel that was interviewing me for the job. And I was explaining to them that I wanted to work with youth, and that I wanted to do some motivational speaking, and that I wanted to start a program. And it just so happened, Ricky, unbeknownst to me at the time, was a motivational speaker up and coming who was looking to start a program himself. So it's almost like, God knew that was supposed to happen, so that's basically how I met Ricky to start off.
Yeah, dude. Like, so let me tell you the other side of the story. It's going to be a dual story. It's going to be a dual success journey show. I'm going to tell you my perspective, right? So I'm sitting on the other side of the table. We get this resume, and we're reading through the resume, and I'm just like, this guy's pretty interesting, all right, cool. Brother from Morgan State, love to get him into this industry and, see what's out. So he walks in, nice professionally, walked in there, and, he's talking. Then he starts saying these things like Ian said. He started mentioning all this stuff. And I looked at my coworker, which we had started talking about this stuff. And I'm like, yo, why is this kid saying everything that we were just talking about? Like, I don't care. We're bringing this guy. We're bringing this guy on. I knew beyond what we're going to be able to do at Hopkins, there's going to be even more stuff that we can do together, right? And like he said, man, he went down his list. We was like, yo. So I remember specifically, he said, I'm a martial arts instructor. I said, and he said, you want to go get into motivational speaking and all that kind of stuff. I said, let me test this dude out real quick. And I said, yeah. So in martial arts, I forget how I phrased it, but it was something about taking a move in martial arts.
It was about a counterattack.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yeah. It was like the counterattack. I was like, how can you take that? Well, I asked him what was his favorite martial arts, whatever move or whatever it was. And he's talking about the counterattack. And I said, all right, how can you take that now and apply it to life? And this dude, I forget exactly what he said, but he broke it down in a way. I was like, yo, this guy, I don't care what else he does. I know me and him got to be partnered together in some form or fashion, man. We got done with that interview. I was like, yup, that kid right there, sign him up. So yeah. So you came on board, we met each other, and you had just graduated from Morgan State. Yep. Now you're in this internship, man. What's going through your mind?
Deciding what route I wanted to take. My degree was in architecture, but I knew I didn't want to be a designer. So I knew I didn't want to be an architect. So when I came to you guys, you got introduced to project management. I was basically trying to scope out and see if this is a direction, in the design field that I wanted to go without being an actual designer. And I decided that was the direction I did want to go. Being a part of the projects, but I didn't like the subjective artistic side of design too much. So being a project manager appealed to me at the time, at least. It appealed to me. And at Hopkins is when I found out, when I started knowing what companies to apply for and what direction I wanted. So it kind of just gave me that jump start into the field. But I was still uncertain, because I didn't have any experience,
Yeah.
It's funny we talk about my resume because I remember writing it. I didn't have any experience, so I was just trying to fill it in with aspirations the whole time. But even, just at Hopkins, man, I met you, the other people, and you guys helped me outside of like work. Like you said, everybody was a resource for me.
Yeah. And you were there. We were there for a little bit, and then you started looking to the next step, right? That was an internship,
right?
Internship, right? And for all those that were out there, it was a paid internship, so he wasn't doing free labor, even though. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I got you.
It was a paid internship.
I got you.
But now it's like, hey, man, I graduated. I got student loans to pay. Like most people got student loans to pay, and now it's time to say, hey, I need an actual job. Like, what's next? Like, what started going through your head at that point?
So I have a very interesting story about that. So while I was at Hopkins, I was applying to these different construction management companies, and you the one that told me to do it. Actually, I think about it. You told me to write down what my goals are while I'm here. But I think it was 2017 coming up or 2016 coming up. Mm-hmm. What are my goals for the year? And I wrote in a little Post-it note. I said I wanted to get a full-time job, and I wanted to get a truck because I wanted to get rid of my little Honda Prelude I had at the time. So to get more specific, I remember talking to my mother, and I was telling her what seemed like a lot of money at the time, fresh out of college. I was saying, yeah, I don't want to make any less than, $55,000, $60,000 coming out of college. And I remember my mother telling me, well, you need to, lower those standards a little bit. You don't have no experience. You need to take whatever job you can get. And I remember getting a phone call from the job I got hired after Hopkins, and he offered me the exact salary that I wrote down on that Post-it note. And then when I said I wanted a truck, I wrote down a Ford Explorer 2005 because that's all I could afford as far as being reasonable to save up my money. And I was riding around my father, and I saw this truck in the back alley from where he was doing some work on some motorcycles. And I was like, where'd this truck come from? And I was looking at it. It's a 2005 Ford Explorer. And he said, oh, well, me and your mother got it to, it was a graduation present for you. I just still got to fix it up a little bit, but it's a graduation gift. And I was like, I got the job with this, not just the job, it was the salary. And then I got the exact truck that I wrote down on that Post-it note.
Yeah.
So I still didn't know where my life was headed career-wise, but I knew, all right, if there's ever a sign I'm going to get that this is the direction I'm going, this is the direction I'm going right now. I'll worry about the rest once I get there.
Oh, man. So I want you guys to remember that the Post-it notes, okay? Mm-hmm. Remember that because, Ian is a big writer in terms of putting things down on paper. And when he told me this, I was like, because, we were talking about, estimated salary to expect and whatever it may be, but it wasn't like he was widespread sharing how much he wanted to make. Right. It was just, hey, I just put it on my notes. Like people have their journals. I put it on my sticky note.
That's all it was.
Yeah. Put it on the car that I wanted. Boom. Write it on a sticky note. And
I've stuck to that ever since that year. I have a whole journal actually. Now,
that's why I told him. That's why I told him to remember it, man. Because I know that right there was a foundation of you seeing like writing the vision of things that you wanted. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you didn't know what was going to come next, but you knew that, hey, this is what I want in life.
And I believe it shows your faith too when you're actually writing it. It's not just a back thought that you have.
For sure.
And so that basically was my jump start to the next part of my career was being I'm not going to use any company names, but I was a project engineer after that. And that's when I got, my feet wet and got a whole idea of not only the career path I was in, but where I would be in 10, 20 years if I decided to stay here. And that kind of, I think, is what started my whole personal journey that I started going on to figure out what it is I want to do.
Yeah.
So with your, so now, your everybody, and we're going to take the journey. I don't want to just jump to the end because everybody, remember he introduced himself as a firefighter EMT.
Yeah.
And like architect, project manager, engineer, right? So how, give us your thought on college or the process of college, how you think, being that you went through all those dynamic changes, right? What do you think college should look like, or how do you think we could implement college better to better suit people where they are, or how to, or in society?
So I am a huge supporter of higher education. I absolutely am. I think it's important I'm all about exposure from, when you're young till, when you're older. You got to keep getting exposed. That's why I think college is important. I think it's unfortunate that college is as expensive as it is because I feel like everybody should have that opportunity to go without having to worry about being poor right after. And that's just the unfortunate side of it. So it's easy for me to say everybody should go to college to just dabble into, that transition to adulthood and what career they might like or might not like. But the realistic side is it's easy just to say that, you know what I mean? So I don't know if there's anything we can do, but I just wish it was affordable. So, because right now you have so many people going to college. Like for me, it was established from when I remember in elementary school. My parents have always set that expectation that I'm going to college after high school. So for me, I know it's different from my parents' generation, but for me, going to college was always an expectation. And a lot of my friends, I know everybody can't say it, but all of the friends in my circle, for the most part, it was expected that they were going to go to college as well. But everybody, some people, they already knew what they wanted to do. Some people know what they want to do when they're young. You just already know they're going to do this. But the average person, you don't know for sure. When you're 18 years old applying, it's great that you're taking that ambition, towards something, but it's also sad that you're signing, a giant loan at such a young age as well. So that's the caveat to it, that it's hard to say, just go to college and go, everybody says go out of state, worry about the money later, but $100,000 because you went out of state, there's nothing fun about that. You're gonna be 22 if the bill's waiting for you,
Correct.
So I would just say if you're serious about going to college, I would say, hit them scholarships and grants hard as hard as you can.
Correct.
And I'm not against going to community college first, to be honest with you, especially if you are uncertain about your degree. Like when I know people going out of state and they're undecided majors, I get why you're undecided because you're 18, 19, but you wasting a lot of money
for English
to not know what you want to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do till after graduation. You know what I mean?
Clearly.
So, everybody's situation is different. The one thing that I wanted to get into as far as my, career after college, the struggle that I had, and I knew that Ricky or some of my other mentors, they couldn't help me but so much because I knew it was my path that I had to fight through, as I felt trapped. When we brought up college, I felt like I spent 4 years getting this degree that was so difficult to get. That architecture program was no joke. Now I'm in a career field that I'm not sure if I like it, but it pays well financially and I can make a living off of it.
Yeah.
But also the other blind spot was if I wasn't doing that, it's not like I had some idea of something else I wish I was doing. So I felt stuck. And on one end, I felt pressure I thought was from family, but I realized it was self-inflicted, almost like I didn't want to let them down. And not that they ever said that to me or hinted it towards me. I think it was just a self-inflicted pressure I gave myself. And it was hard to talk about with anybody because there was no direction to really go at the moment. I just had to keep, staying in it. And that was just a difficult time to go through that,
Yeah. So what did that look like on, you got into your official job now, first full-time job,
right.
Career job. And, you had those things in the back of your head, like, is this where I want to be as well?
Right.
I'm testing this out. Is this what I want to do? I had the, internship experience, and it kind of led me this route. But,
right.
Is there something else out there for me that's closer to what I want?
So the reason I brought up the story of when I wrote down the job on a Post-it note, because when I wrote that down and it came into fruition, like I just knew this job was for me. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying right now that it wasn't. I think it was just a part of the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So when I started the job, even when it got rough, I actually got thrown into the fire. Kind of quick in my job.
Yeah.
I came right out of college, and because of the project I was on, it basically became, I went to the project nobody else wanted because like 2 people quit before me from this project. And I come out, happy I got a brand new job, not knowing what I was about to get put on. And I was like only one of the very few Black men there as well, especially at my age. I think I was maybe 23 or something, when I started. So I really didn't want to be a quitter, I guess is what I'm saying. But I knew I had to live up to the expectation. I was managing the sites alone a lot. I mean, I did have, guidance during the day, but there's many times where I'm covering a job site, by myself, not knowing what the heck was going on, trying to read the drawings. And then at the time I was in healthcare construction, which is probably one of the more complicated divisions you can be in. It was stressful, man. And what stuck in my mind was I was looking at people who were 10 and 15 years ahead of me, who were like I was a project engineer, but the project managers and the superintendents and the vice presidents, and they look miserable. And a lot of these, I was looking at how many were divorced, how many were coming into work 4:35 in the morning and going home 7 at night. We're working every day but Sunday. And then on Sundays, you're still getting phone calls. And I was thinking, I don't want to be like this in 10 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're all getting paid well. So that's what really struck me. Like, man, even if I do decide to stay, it don't look like it's going to get any better. And that's what started settling into me pretty heavy at that time. I just knew, Ricky knows it's like, I refuse to accept what everybody else says, just because everybody else dealing with it. I just had it in the back of my mind, like, man, this ain't going to be, I got to figure something out. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I really was stressing out about it, but I knew it had to be something better,
Man.
It's so everybody's telling stories, and for the people out there, like I only met Ian once, right? But the thing about it, Ricky said, hey, he's having I think it was a housewarming.
Housewarming, right? Yeah.
Housewarming. So I definitely want you to talk about that too. Housewarming, and we're gonna go over to his house. Like, these guys are young, and they're on it, and I was like, okay. And when I got over there, you would think a housewarming at a young guy having a housewarming would be a turn-up party. But we're sitting down talking about business, buying all the properties and talking about life and stuff like that. And right there, I started to understand that, and I don't know if it's the martial arts that brought it into play from you were younger, that discipline. And just hearing you talk, you're saying what I could afford was a Ford Explorer 2005, and I wanted to get a salary for this and this and this. You had some kind of foresight. What made you just, and I know people are going to say, oh, he had 2 parents, whatever. But I've seen a lot of people that had 2 parents go way to the right. What made you zero in to lock in to say, I need to accomplish buying a home, talk about that, and also just living within your means and doing the right things to make sure that you're setting up yourself for success in later on in life?
So for me, I had a lot of male role models. I wasn't the closest I did have a 2-parent home, but like you said, that doesn't really mean but so much. I actually, right now, living on my own is probably the best relationship I've had with my parents. I never was close to really either one of my parents, to be honest with you, to be transparent. But I had a lot of male role models, especially in the martial arts world, because I was around the instructors so much. And being around a lot of older men, younger, you stop comparing yourself to the other people your age. So when I was in high school, everybody wanted the New Balances and, just fashion in general, or even the cars. Everybody wanted to get a fast car for their first car, or they were driving their parents' fast cars. I'll say that. And I always thought to myself, like, man, I want my own car. It was just always, like, why I want my parent car when I go to college or something? You know what I mean? And I started. So, and I grew up in martial arts. I became a assistant instructor as a teenager. So I started making money. It's not a lot now as an adult, but when you're in high school and you're still making a couple $100 bi-weekly, that's a lot of money when you don't got no bills or anything. Right. You're 14 years old. So I always had my own money. So that mentality of me spending my own money just kind of was already instilled at me at, 14, 15. So when I became an adult, my father bought my first car after I told him, hey, I saved up $2,000. I want to go get a car. So he didn't even know I was saving up the money. I was just doing it on my own. But he said he didn't want the first car to come out of my pocket. He'll take care of that. So I just already had it. I always was a independent type person. I like to do stuff. I don't like to wait if I don't have to. So I figure I'm gonna save up money on my own. And we talk a lot about your surroundings decide who you are. One of my close friends that Ricky knows, Yosef. He's my age. The guy you were talking to at my housewarming. Yosef. I bought my house at 24. Yosef bought his at like 21, 22. So although I bought mine at 24, I was behind the 8 ball if you compare me to, my closest friend. Right.
Love that.
So when I bought my house, it wasn't a big deal to me. It was really funny seeing everybody's response, like how excited they were for me. Because to me, I was trying to play catch up to keep up. So it's a lot of that was who I was around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh, man, I love that, Rick. I'm just gonna jump before.
Yeah.
I love that because now a lot of times we like to say, man, when you're older, you get it. When you're older, you'll get it. You make it old, but when you're older, you'll get it. So people are starting, man, I'm 35, I'm looking to buy my first home. I know people 40 looking to buy their first home. But you said at 24, you were playing catch up because your circle, guys that were in your circle had already purchased homes at 21. Yeah. Right? And when we're looking at Fred Hampton, he was 21.
21.
21.
Making moves, man.
Making moves. You understand what I'm saying? So the crazy thing is that we like to put that age limit and put a barrier on somebody because their age limit. But I'm telling you, right now, you can sit down and talk to a lot of people that are older than you and actually school them up and say, hey, man, these are some of the moves that you want to make. So, man, I gotta applaud you for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when I got that job I was telling you about out of college, making a decent salary, I was still living at home with my parents. And naturally, you want to get out and get an apartment. That's what everybody was doing. But I told myself, well, I want a house. So I can either move out now and pay an apartment rent, or I can wait another year and a half staying at my parents. I can stack up some money, get my house, and just pay the same that I would if I had an apartment. And so I stayed at home a little later. So I didn't move out with my parents till I was 24. But
you move right into a house.
I moved right into a house. Now I can have as much peace as I want to.
Exactly. and building wealth with it. Nah, man. Dude, man, it's man, I'm just nostalgia, man. Like just hearing a lot of this stuff. I was like, dang, man. I'm just like, I'm just listening, man. But forgetting that I was actually there, Journey, like, man, this boy's good right here. This boy's good. That boy good. But so you you were in the construction world for a little bit, and you was like, all right, you know what? I remember the day I got the call from him or a text from him. He was like, Rick, I think I'm transitioning out of construction, dude. And I was just like, okay, like what's the plan? Like, what are you going to do? And I don't think you really had a full plan at the moment. You didn't have a full plan at the moment. I was like,
I know it's a hard text to get.
I was like, all right, dude. Because I mean, I'm skipping ahead a couple of years because he transitioned in between that as well, and another good opportunity. And I think he was writing stuff down at that time too to get that next opportunity. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, man, he doesn't know what he's gonna do. Like, dude, like, okay, how? And in my head, I'm like, all right, what can I do? And I was like, I got to that point. I was like, all right, man, all I can do, I'm here to support. Like whatever you're going, man. I knew he was writing stuff down on his pad, so I was like, as long as that pad is active, man, he's good.
I was going through it, man, and I cut the lot. Hindsight, I'm a big proponent of if you have friends, use them, because I went through a lot of stuff by myself that I didn't need to go through by myself. Mm-hmm. 2017, I lost one of my best friends, one of the karate guys I grew up with on a motorcycle crash. I know I was on the phone with you when I got that.
Yeah.
When I broke down. That changed my life, man. That still hurts me today. It was a rough time. So I lost my friend the same month, and I stopped dating the girl that I was dating at the time. And then I was just going through it at the job, and I decided I was leaving that job. And that was all in the same month. Mm-hmm. So after that happened in my life, man, for the next year or so, I just went through a down period. I gained a lot of weight, man. I jumped up from like 200 to about 236. And it's not, I didn't change the way I ate. I didn't really change anything diet-wise. I knew it was stress related.
Yep.
And I couldn't, but I knew it wasn't going to change until I changed the stress environments. That was my first time experiencing that. And I knew it was stress. But like when I was reaching out to Ricky, it wasn't even to look for advice on what direction to go. I think I just needed to tell somebody like, hey man, I'm hitting rock bottom and we about to take a little leap right now. And it was the scariest thing that I've done. To be honest with you, so Ricky, I don't know if you found out later or not. So I actually already left when I told you I was thinking about leaving. Yeah. I just didn't tell you because I couldn't handle the extra pressure from people in my circle at the time. It was just too much for me to handle at the time.
Yeah.
So it was stressful because you got to think I'm a year into I have a house to myself. And the year I bought my house, I decided I'm leaving my career. I can't deal with it no more. I hit low rock bottom. So it was kind of like, we just going to find out what's on the other side of this one way or another. So, I scraped up some money. I was doing UPS night shift and DoorDash during the day and Lyft. Just, I had, used some savings just to get by. And back to my little notepad. So I got, hey, after this episode, everybody's going to want to start writing stuff down. I have a car now. And when I got my car, the truck was just costing me so much money, man, because I had like a 90-mile commute every day.
Oh, man, that gas is killing me.
Oh, man, I was dying.
9 miles per gallon. 9 gallons.
Ford Explorer ain't getting no miles per gallon, man. I was filling up, I think, 3 days a week, filling that tank up. And I told my mother, I said, I'm getting a car. And I said, I want to get another black car with black wheels, and I don't want to spend no more than $10,000. And I don't know why I had it so specific, but I wrote it down. And of course, I get the same thing. I don't know, and you need to be a little more flexible and just go ahead and get a loan and this, and that. I saved my money up, bro. The next day, Ricky, I got a call from my buddy. He said, man, think about selling my Corolla.
Yeah.
The next day, he's like,
I need you to speak something in my life,
man. He said, I think I'm gonna sell it for about 10 G's, man. I don't know. And I was like, get the heck out of here, man. So
what color is it?
Have you talked about that?
The reason I brought that up, when I decided that I was leaving the career for good, I wrote down my goals for 2019. And I said, I want to find a job where I can work with kids. I can teach martial arts, but actually get paid to do it. And I wanted to mentor youth. And a friend of mine, Ricky knows, Morgan Freeman, say, hey, I got this guy. He runs a nonprofit. I can talk to him, see if they're hiring or anything. And normally people aren't really hired. It's just somebody that says they know somebody. And I meet up with this guy at Panera Bread. Another guy, never met him in my life, don't even know his name. He said, yeah, man, we're hiring full-time, part-time, what you want? I was like, get the heck out of here. Now, at this point, I quit my job. I got a house. I don't care what kind of job I'm going to get, He said full time. That was enough for me. I wanted to get out of UPS so bad. Night shift. I'd do anything. And it was a job mentoring youth. A great company, Project Numa. It's a nonprofit in Baltimore. They mentor Baltimore City boys. It's a social emotional program, and they do martial arts, yoga, and mentoring. So they wanted me to work with the kids as well as be the martial arts guy as well. And I would go to they contracted with like 21 Baltimore City schools. And mind you, I got this written down on a sheet of paper that I didn't never hear of the company. I didn't know what, and they didn't know that I was on my last limb financially trying to not leave my house. So that just worked out. And I ended up going there. I started there, 2019 after I left my career. And that's basically started after rock bottom, I started, coming out the ashes with that. And sometimes I would drive on the way to work and I can't believe this is what I was going to do at the time. And then, I'm going to say it, I want to be a firefighter written down in that same book as well.
Yeah.
I went into my interview with Project Numa telling them, I would love this job. I just want you guys to know I'm also trying to be a firefighter. So if that does come through, and that's odd to say at a job interview, but I wanted to be, they seem like such stand-up guys. It's a Black-owned company. They remind me of you guys, actually. And I was like, I can't play a game with them knowing that if something does pop up, I'm going to hop up and leave them.
But even with that, right? So I remember getting the next call was like, yo, I got the job with a nonprofit, like phenomenal, man, teaching martial arts. We've been talking about martial arts since the day one, since I messaged you. It was like, yo, how can we figure out ways to get you training and all that kind of stuff on your own? Yeah. And then it was like, you do the whole firefighter thing in there. And that was left field for me too. I was like, man, I didn't know you wanted to be a firefighter. But he broke it down. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I definitely could see him doing that. Yeah. And then you were saying, what you apply for. And in my head, I'm like, dang, man, I know guys that have been trying to do this for a minute.
Far-fetched.
Yeah, like
we're talking about the firefighting.
Yeah, the firefighting.
Yeah, I didn't know when I applied. I didn't know how popular it was. How many people applied? I didn't know.
Oh, it's hard. I was a recruiter. I'll tell you, I love when kids could sit in front of me. I was recruiting for the Marine Corps. When they sat down and said, I want to be a firefighter, I was like, yes, they're going to join. Because when I bring them to the firehouse and they see the one guy that was volunteering for like 30 years and didn't get a job.
Yeah. I didn't know it was that competitive. And, I applied to DC, man. You know that Walter something convention center in DC?
Yeah.
The whole first floor was nothing but desks with pencils on it. It was 3,000 people for that, 4,000 people applying. I did not, and I saw that. I was like, I'm still leaving my job, but this is crazy. Yeah, man. I didn't know it was that popular. I didn't grow up around it. It's just something I had to get in. Well, I had it stuck in my mind doing something in the construction or design world. And I told myself, man, this ain't what I want to do. What is something that I've always thought was cool that I never actually considered to pursue? And that was the one thing.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm
going after it.
Yeah.
Dude, man. Travelers, I hope you're hearing this, man. You can hear the suspense even in him sharing it right now. Imagine going through it real life, and how much more of just walking in that unknown, and walking in that journey every single day, trying to find, hey, is this where I want to be? This is where I'm going to make an impact in the world. And Ian and I have had so many conversations about this. We traveled so much, talking about this with each other, other people, podcasts, whatever it may be. Yeah. And, just seeing him live it out through his life, man, it's just nothing but, man, man, I'm excited, man. I'm super proud. And I know that, man, this thing is just getting started for you. Tell us where, when you graduated from, I don't know how the process is with firefighters, but when you got to that completion of the training, I don't know, let's jump back first, right? So I remember when he was starting the training, and so guys, I'm trying to give you that other side of perspective. So he'll tell you something, but I'm gonna tell you what I was thinking on his side, right? On the other side of it, right? So he was like, he's starting to train, and he's like, dude, I gotta lose weight, man. And we're always talking about that, getting in shape and everything.
Yeah.
You know, that was always something that we always shared. And he was like, man, I got to start training. And he was always talking about different diets. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's drinking a banana pills
I knew he was going to say
right
that.
now.
It's actually a detox tea. That's funny you said that.
Oh, man, this dude, I got to do a side thing, man. This dude tried to do a detox one time. And thank God that his sister was in the house with him.
Almost died?
Yes.
I had 2 bad experiences with some crazy detoxes. One of them had me pulled over on the side of the road.
Oh man, but dude, like, talk about getting back in shape, man. You say you got out of shape because
so I gained all this weight I told you guys about. So when I got the job for I'm with Howard County Fire Department now, Fire and Rescue. When I got the email that I was hired, I called up one of my buddies maybe a week after, and I told him he trains people. He's a trainer, and he's a football coach as well. And he mentioned to me before, I used to train him with boxing and self-defense. And he mentioned before, if I ever want him to train me, he said he would love to introduce me to his world of training. So when I got that call, I was scared because I already knew he was about to bring the heat. And I was like, hey, man, I need you to help me get in shape for this academy. And I did an 8-week training camp with him. And by the time the academy started, I came from 236. I got down to 210 when the academy started. He worked, man. He had some of the hardest workouts I've ever done.
Calisthenics, a lot of calisthenics, or? Yeah,
it was summertime, so it was mid-June. So it was all outside in the open field, all calisthenics, high intensity cardio. Running with the bands, like pulling you back, and you running with the bands pulling you. Everything that you don't want to do. We did. He told me, the idea was to shock my system so that when I get to the academy, it wouldn't be a shock to my body when they hit me with those workouts. So I dropped 26 pounds. At the academy, I was 210. And man, I felt so much better, like physically. My energy was better. I'm majority plant-based now for about a year now. I'll still eat some fish. When I was going through it, gaining a weight, man, I'll come home from work hating my job, and I'll be sleepy at like 6:30. Like physically, like you, Ricky, I'm a morning person too. Like I was tired, like physically, like, man, I'm about to nod off, and I wasn't used to that. And then I was still sleepy during the day at work. I used to get up at 5:30 regularly. I was getting up at 7 o'clock for work, still tired. You know what I mean? Like, so I went back. Now I'm back to how I used to be, as far as my energy. And I refuse to go back to not even just gaining the weight, but like being in that mental state where I just felt defeated. Like I ain't going back to that at all, especially in my job now. So
talk about that mental defeat and how you got out that. I know you said the physical fitness and everything. That's a very part of it, but just the mental state, because I see a lot of. I put something on my Facebook today. And I'm not going to go there because I don't want people to think it's negative. But just that going through that, how did you come out of it mentally?
So I personally, right now, I feel mentally stronger than ever, and I actually feel that some people should go through some things because now I know that whatever trial is going to happen in the future that I don't know about, and I hit that dark place again, I know I'm gonna be okay. You know what I mean? I know I'm gonna be hurt for the moment, whatever may happen, but I know I'm gonna come out okay. I think that what I kept telling myself was when I was going through it, I kept telling myself, hey man, 6 months from now, I could be in a whole nother place. And I just kept telling myself that 6 months from now, I could be in a whole nother position. And look what happened 6 months from, when I decided to. So it was like, I'm already at rock bottom, so I'm not going to speak any more negativity. There's no point. I'm already at rock bottom.
Love it.
I might as well just hope for the best. That's all you can do when you're at rock bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like that mental part is the most important. The mental determines the physical. Because like I say, my weight gain was from stress.
Yes.
So that's a clear example. The mental determines the physical. If I didn't come out of it, I wouldn't be able to do that training camp with my buddy that trained me. You know what I mean? So at some point, you got to take responsibility that nobody can help you sometimes. Sometimes it's all on you.
Talk about it.
It's that simple. Nobody can help you sometimes, and you can't be mad at other people for not being able to help you.
Yeah.
You're dropping some gems right there, brother. Well, you've been dropping gems, but that's another one right there. I'm telling you, nobody. Sometimes nobody can help you to get out of it, and you have to be able to accept the fact that they can't get you out of it.
That's what my sensei, God rest his soul. I was talking to him a lot when I was going through the whole career transition. And when I finally left, he said, I knew it was coming and I knew that's what the direction you were going to go, but I couldn't tell you to do it. So I just had to pray for you. He said, I didn't pray to God that you would leave the fire either, because I knew it would be better once you got through this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. So he knew that I was going to be coming through this other side, but he had to let me
go through it.
Go through it. And that was hard to do, man. But like I say, I knew talking to Ricky is nothing he can do. It's nothing that anybody can do. I just had to figure it out. Like you got to stop assuming also that everybody else around you has it all together. Yeah, and Ricky, I'm sure had to go through his own stuff. I know he did.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all it is. This is just my turn.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you finish, the graduation day. Yeah, and you're standing there like, man, what was going through your mind, dude?
So I told my captain, I said, man, this means more to me than graduating college, because like I told y'all, that was always a part of the plan. I feel like I didn't really have much decision making for that, but for me to tell my family, hey, I'm leaving my field. I'm not doing nothing I went to college for. I'm also leaving working with the kids right now because I want to be a firefighter. I got everybody looking at me like I got 3 heads. But man, I never felt so, this is the first time I've had a career where I felt like, man, I belong doing this. Like I belong doing this, like whether it's physically or mentally, like the stuff that you see in my field is sad. You see some horrific things, but I also know that everybody can't see this kind of stuff and still function.
Correct.
So I knew that, and I'm a person that needs fulfillment. And I think that's what caused a lot of my depression. I need fulfillment. If I feel like my life isn't doing anything, that's what starts to keep me up. And I will literally be up at night trying to, figure out, I need to do something. Yeah. But now I feel like, man, every day, everybody says they want to impact people and that their jobs, they do that job because of what it does for people. But a lot of people's jobs don't impact anybody directly. Just being
and they don't want to impact nobody anymore.
And they don't want to impact nobody. It just sounds good. Some people say stuff because it sounds good. But
exactly.
Now every day I know for a fact that I made somebody feel better or I saved somebody's life. You know what I mean?
Correct.
I got that fulfillment that I want as well,
Man, travelers, man, from the intern, man, all the way to the firefighter, man, that right there is, man, an incredible journey, incredible story. Man, I'm just sitting back just proud, dude. Like, you have no idea, man. I could be cheesing this whole time,
Ricky
man.
gave me, he didn't say this part. When I had my first job interview, he said, you got a suit? I was like, I got one suit stashed away just for job interviews. He's like, oh man, here's $200. I was like, man, he gave me $200 and I went to K&G's. And I don't know if I told you this part, Ricky. They had suits 2 for $200 sale that day.
No, you need to pray over me, man.
They had suits 2 for $200. So I was like, man, I can get 2 suits today. So I got a black suit and a navy blue suit. I was like,
change up the tie, change up the shirt, you good.
And the other guy, Mr. Maurice, he gave me a bag. Say, hey man, these some ties I had in my closet I haven't worn in years. Just take them. And he just gave me this little Walmart bag of random ties. So I was like, whoa, I was set. But really, before we ended, I wanted to say this about Ricky. When we decided to end our podcast and Inventors, the nonprofit we had, it's almost like he kicked me, basically saying, hey man, I need you to go do your thing. Because I started, we didn't talk about it, but after I left, I started an LLC teaching martial arts. I was renting out a rec center, teaching women's self-defense classes. And I only did that because Ricky was like, hey, man, you got it in you. You want to teach martial arts. That's all you talk about. He's like, yeah, you're in the STEM field doing this, this, and that. But you just light up when you talk about teaching somebody martial arts. And I want you to go focus on that. So he basically gave me that nudge to even start doing my own thing, you know, in general.
I mean, dude, man, when we connected, man, it went from, hey, that's an intern to, hey, that's a friend, hey, then to a brother, you know. And when we say, man, we connected so fast, so quick. I mean, we were talking every single day because we were working in the same place, lunch, everything, you know, the whole nine. You know, families integrated, you know, come over to his house, meet his family, came over to my house. We were traveling across states. We wrote a book together, like the first book I wrote, guys, if you see there, you know, all the beginnings of each chapter, it was written by Ian.
All the poems,
all the poems, man. The worksheet that we put together, man, he did all the construction of it. I mean, we were moving, and like I said, I didn't even think about that, man. That part right there, the last part you mentioned. But as I think back at it now, I'm just like, I just knew, man, this guy had this greatness in him, man. You know, it was, and I saw it one time, and I'll share this with everybody. We were in Philadelphia, and I was like, yo, dude, I want you to speak. Like I was there to speak. It wasn't him to speak. It was like, yo, Rick, this is your turn to speak, do your presentation. I was like, yo, you know what, dude? I want you to open up, do something like 5-10 minutes before I go up there. And we were talking about the fire within, and he incorporated martial arts into the whole presentation, and it was fire. It was crazy. And I remember he sat down, and it was like a glow on him. It was just like,
he had a Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he had Bruce Leroy. He had the Bruce Leroy, or the show enough. Whatever one, man. He didn't have all the hair back then, but he sat down, and it was just a glow, man, and he couldn't get the smile off his face from that. And from that point, I was like, yo, you know, this guy really got to get into the space of training, and whatever I can do to get them in that place. And I don't even know exactly how it was when we stopped the STEM. I'm all confused up, all these STEM dialogue. But I knew it was at a point where, you know, everyone that was a part of the team, you know, they were fulfilled in what we did, and it was time for everyone to move and go into their different segments, man. And that was the beauty of it, you know. And you know, and I would have never ever foreseen Ian going through the journey that he went through from that point to now. Like, I thought, dude, call me at one time. All right, got you locked in with a great organization now twice, you know? Twice. Those were like two like solid.
And it's funny because they love me at both places, but I'm like, man, I don't know how miserable I am right here.
Exactly. I'm receiving notes from them like, yo, Ian is amazing, from both organizations. Like, Ian is amazing. This is a phenomenal guy. So glad, you know, he's working with us now. And of course, I'm proud about it. And, you know, just to see him transition through buying his home, man, being there with his home, now going to be a father, you know, just like, dude, so proud of you, man, and everything that you're doing. And, you know, travelers, this is the beauty of our show, because we're not just taking people that you see in the limelight or think people that always had it all figured out and they know what direction they're going to do from the time they wake up to they open their eyes and start crying. Like, this is what I'm going to do, you know, in my life, you know, but people that have to figure it out and want to show that you're not alone.
Correct.
You know, and you may feel like you're isolated right now, going through your situation. But even Ian, in his isolation, you know, his situation may have been unique to him, but it wasn't a unique situation that people have never been in the past. And so many people either fold or become victors through that, man. And I'm so proud that you chose to be a victor through that situation and through the situation, because it's only preparing you for what's coming next.
I was going to say, man, one thing I want to leave with all your viewers is, if you feel trapped in your life, you're not that plain and simple. Don't feed into it. And if you're going through a dark time, look at it as training ground. All that is training for the next step. Like you say, if you do the training, you're going to be prepared for, that freedom you're about to have right after. If you don't do the training, you're going to stay there until you're done training. So you can prolong your own struggle. And it's really up to you if you're in that dark place. It's tough love. It's hard to say it that bluntly, but that's the way it is. So you're not trapped if you don't have to be trapped if you are feeling trapped.
Yeah, man, I love it.
Love it.
I'm gonna be happy to see Ian back on the show, man, because I know you're probably gonna be a pilot next or something. So, as I listen to his story, man, you know how like when people are talking to me, because I traveled a lot, especially in the United States of America, but outside too, and people are like, they'll be like, I went to this dinner. I was like, I've been to that place. Yeah, I've been to that place, and I can talk about it. People are going to be talking about careers. You're like, I was an astronaut for a year. Yeah. I was a pilot for 3 years, and then I went over here. Yeah. I DT dive.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, dude. But travelers, listen, man, we have come to the end of another show. Man, check us out on our website at successjourneyshow.com. All the social media platforms. Well, I can't say that. All the podcast platforms, because we're definitely not on TikTok and all that stuff. You're going to find us on there. All the podcast platforms. You can find the Success Journey Show. Leave a review. Leave a comment. Man, we'll love to hear from you. And we want you to stay tuned with us, because next week we'll be back at the same time, the same place on the Success Journey Show. All right, everyone, have a good one.
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com. The Journey Squad is here helping you to your destination.